Why do people choose Apple over Samsung, Starbucks over local coffee shops, or Nike over any other sneaker brand? It's not just about the product, it's about the relationship, the feeling, the loyalty. Brand loyalty isn't just about repeat purchases, it's about creating customers who love your brand so much that they actively promote it to others. In today's episode, we're diving deep into how to turn casual buyers into lifelong brand advocates. This is season 2, episode 17, Brand Loyalty, Turning Customers into Advocates. Now, on today's episode, what we're going to cover is we're going to talk about what brand loyalty actually means beyond repeat purchases, the psychology behind why customers stay loyal, how to create experiences that build lasting loyalty, how to turn customers into brand advocates and leverage word of mouth marketing, and real world examples of brands with cult like followings. Now, what is brand loyalty and why does it matter? First, when we look at the definition of brand loyalty, we see that brand loyalty isn't just about repeat purchases. It's about customers choosing your brand even when your cheaper or more convenient options exist. Now, loyal customers defend your brand, promote your brand, and stick around even when things go wrong. Now, we've defined this into 3 different types of brand loyalty, right? So we have the behavioral loyalty, which is customers returning out of habit or convenience. We have the attitudinal loyalty, which customers are emotionally connected to the brand. And we have the advocacy loyalty, where customers actively recommend and promote the brand. Now, those 3 areas or 3 different types of brand loyalists, we have different stages and different ways that we can get them into the different aspects of the funnel, right? Because when we look at behavioral loyalty, it might be a little bit easier for a clothing store or a product based business where we can encourage customers to return out of habit or convenience strictly based on the fact that it's somewhere on the drive home, somewhere where they know they can stop by every week. It's kind of a standard thing that they do. Versus when we're looking at advocacy loyalty, we might be looking more at like a service based business, right? Where you're actively recommending their type of service. If you're a roofer, HVAC, plumbing, right? And you think about the active Facebook groups out there, or in a conversation when someone says, hey, who do you use for this? When we achieve that advocacy loyalty, it brings that next step of we're not having to run paid ads or pay to acquire that customer, but now we actually have some sort of loyalty that drives some engagement for our brand. Now, when we talk about the business impact of loyalty, we found some interesting things. So not only do we see that loyal customers spend more and refer others, which what's not to love, we actually found that it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one. So from Harvard Business Review, a stat that we saw was that just a 5% increase in customer retention can actually boost profits by 25 to 95%, which in the grand scheme of things, from a marketing perspective, from a business owner perspective, a 5% increase for a 25 to 95% profit boost is a great investment from our perspective. If you don't think so, let me know, but I would say most people would think that's a great investment. Now, loyalty programs and brand advocates drive organic growth with little ad spend, which is very key, especially depending on the industry that you're in. Because if you're in a very heavy ad spend type industry where it's very competitive and it seems like a race to the bottom, obviously we're not recommending to not spend ads. But at the same time, if we can drive some loyalty and build some brand awareness and allocate some of your marketing budget towards building brand loyalists instead of just driving engagement or leads in the door, sometimes that's a really good long-term strategy. Now, we're not saying to take your entire marketing budget or your ad budget and moving it into loyal customers, but we always say take 10-15% of what you're spending on ads, and what can you do that to invest in your current customers to build better loyal customers. Now, there is some psychological element behind brand loyalty, and we've broken it down into 3 different areas. So the first area here is the emotional connection and the trust. So we know people buy based on emotions and then they justify with logic, right? So we know that loyalty comes from consistent, positive emotional experiences with the brand. So if a customer trusts your brand, they're not only less likely to switch, but especially if a competitor comes in and offers a lower price, you have a lot higher chance of that individual not wanting to switch, even if they are offered a lower price. Now, think about this, right? So if we think about Harley Davidson customers, they don't just buy the motorcycle, right? They're joining a community, they're joining an organization identity, which drives loyalty. Now, second piece of this is the role of consistency. So when we look at when customers know exactly when to expect from their brand, they actually feel safe returning, right? So if we look at that from a larger perspective, branding, messaging, and customer experience should be consistent across all platforms and interactions, because not only what it does is build some loyalty across cross-channel marketing, but it allows for your customers to feel safe returning, and they expect consistency, which in all reality, most consumers are looking for from the brands that they interact. Now, if you think about it, right, in McDonald's, whether we're in New York, Tokyo, China, Los Angeles, we can all agree that the fries taste the same. Now, what that does is that consistency builds trust. Now, the third component to the psychology behind brand loyalty is the social proof and community influence part. Now, we know that people trust other people more than ads, and so we want what others have. So when we see other people supporting brand, we're more likely to do the same, or the consumer is more likely to do the same. So the easy example in this situation is if we look at Apple, when they launch a new phone, do we really think that people need a new iPhone every year? Probably not. But is it about the experience in the community and having what other people have that drives individuals to get a new iPhone every year? Absolutely. Is there new tech? Yes. But at the same time, do we need a new fine iPhone every year? No. But how many people actually get a new iPhone every year? Probably about 95% of people, maybe every 2 years. Now, when we're looking at the brand loyalty aspect, there's this important element that we need to look at is how do we create experiences that build brand loyalty? Because we know some of the definitions behind brand loyalty. We know a couple different types of brand loyalists. We know the psychology behind brand loyalty. But how do we actually deliver and create experiences that are actually going to encourage customers to become loyal to us? First, we always recommend it's imperative to deliver outstanding customer service. And when we say customer service isn't just about fixing problems. It's about exceeding expectations. So when we look at back in the day, Zappos, right? We see that they're famous for sending flowers to customers or upgrading their shipping for free. And we know from that small gestures create huge loyalty. Put yourself in the brand at a buyer's perspective. You're in the middle of purchasing something and they come and they say, hey, we're going to upgrade your shipping for free. We're going to send you flowers. That small gesture can create a lasting impact in someone's life. So the actionable tip on this side is when we're looking at delivering outstanding customer service, we need to see how we can invest in customer service training to respond quickly, show empathy, and always aim to wow your customers. Now, the second element of creating experiences that build brand loyalty is the personalization and customer engagement. We've talked about customer engagement and personalization in previous episodes, so I highly recommend that you actually go a little bit more in depth on those. But from a broad perspective, we know that people love brands that make them feel seen and valued. So personalization increases customer retention because people appreciate when brands remember their preferences. Now, we've talked about this in previous episodes, but Spotify Wraps, if we think about the Spotify Wrapped every year, we know it's coming when people start posting on their Instagram stories, when they start sharing it. And we know that users get a customized year in review, which they absolutely love to share, which is perfect because it's free marketing. Now, the actionable tip here is it's all great to talk about Spotify Wrapped, but that's got to be a massive ordeal for Spotify to roll out every year. They're using data, they're using all of this engagement metrics to understand what their listeners are listening to. Now, for you, the actionable tip is use customer data to personalize emails, product recommendations, and experiences. It might not be the full on Spotify Wrapped, but what data can we use from our customers that can help inform the emails that we send, the product recommendations, and the experiences that we provide? Now, the third element, and in my opinion, it's a little bit harder for service-based businesses, but the aspect of rewarding loyalty is a big one, right? Because loyalty programs incentivize repeat purchases and create exclusivity. So I think about the Starbucks reward program, right? It makes you feel like you're winning, which I'm not going to brag. I have a Starbucks gold card from, I don't even know how long ago. I've had it for so long. And it makes you feel like you're winning because sometimes you get free drinks, you keep coming back. But if you break down the actual aspect of how much you're getting back from that, I feel like I purchased probably 20 to 30 drinks and I might get one drink free. That's a pretty terrible return on investment on my part, but I'm not looking at the overall ROI. I'm looking at because I feel special. I have a gold card. Not that that means anything because it really doesn't. I'm getting stars. I'm using that. I feel like they put a little bit more detail into my type of drink, even though they probably don't. it makes you feel like you're winning, and you want that with your customers. So the actionable tip on this side is offer exclusive discounts, early access, or perks for repeat customers. I think this is one of the lowest hanging fruit for businesses, especially in retail, product-based businesses, e-com, is find ways to make your customers or your loyal customers or repeat customers feel like they're getting some sort of incentive just from purchasing from you, right? Because there's a lot of brands that they'll provide membership programs, subscriptions, and those are great, but the customers have to purchase those. And so if we can find ways to give some sort of early access to a customer or an engaged repeat customer that is free for them and doesn't require anything from them, they're going to love that. Now we turn into the corner of how do we actually turn customers into brand advocates, right? Because we've talked about how to build brand loyalists, but what do we do to get them to actually advocate for our business? Well, first, we need to look at encouraging word of mouth marketing. So happy customers will talk about your brand, but you have to make it easy for them, right? So this is where, again, we've talked about referral programs or reward programs. Referral programs reward customers for bringing in new business. So there's a lot of affiliate programs out there, or for example, Dropbox referral program. It actually skyrocketed their growth because users got extra storage space for every friend that they invited. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you're limited for space already in Dropbox and you can get a little bit of extra space for inviting a friend, makes a big difference. So the actionable tip here is create a simple, rewarding referral program and promote it frequently. Now, the second piece of this is we can actually leverage user-generated content. So people trust content created by real customers over brand ads. So if we can encourage customers to share their experiences, it's going to build credibility. Glossier built $1 billion brand by getting customers to post selfies using their products. Really fascinating. Highly encourage you to look at that. We did some research prior to this episode, and there's some really fascinating stories when it comes to that. The encouragement here is featuring user content on your social page, website and ads is going to drive build better brand advocates, which is all important. Now, the last aspect of this is we need to think about building a community around your brand. So communities foster loyalty by making customers feel like they belong. And we know that brand advocates don't just love your products, they love the identity your brand gives them. Think about it this way. Peloton, it's more than an exercise bike. It's a tribe of people working together towards a goal, right? And we think about Peloton, they started as a cycling company, but now I've heard from people that have Pelotons that they have yoga, they have other exercise type activities. And so if we think about Peloton as more than just an exercise bike, not only is it a tribe of people working together towards a goal, but now they're offering differentiated products or services, which is huge. So the actionable tip here is you can create online groups, live events, maybe exclusive memberships for your customers, just to encourage a little bit of community building with your brand. Now, the real world example here is Tesla's brand building. So again, this is some interesting data that we're seeing. Again, we don't know everything, but from what our research has told us is that Tesla spends $0 on traditional advertising, yet has some of the most diehard brand advocates. Now, Tesla customers promote the brand for free. They create YouTube reviews, even defend the brand against critics. And they've really built a loyal community by delivering innovation, personalization, which would be the over-the-air updates, and an identity customers are proud of. Now, I'm not saying that they're not spending ads because we know that they are, but generally speaking, when we're looking at traditional advertising, we found that they have spent very little compared to some of the most diehard brand advocates. Now, some of the lessons that we learned from Tesla when we're looking at them is there's 3 different keys that we found. First, Tesla has innovated and differentiated very well. They redefined the auto industry with electric first vehicles and a tech-driven approach. Second, they created exclusivity and hype because they know that limited production runs and there's no traditional dealership, which makes Tesla feel like a VIP experience. Now, the third thing that they've done very well is they've turned customers into evangelists, right? So Tesla owners actively sell Teslas to their friends and families because of how much they love them. Now, as we're concluding, the formula for brand loyalty and advocacy, we're looking at it. It's about creating experiences, trust, and community, not just selling products. And if I leave you with anything, I'll give you 4 key takeaways. 1, deliver consistent, high-quality experiences. 2, engage customers on a personal level. 3, encourage and reward referrals and user-generated content. And 4, build a strong brand identity customers want to feel a part of. The brands that win aren't just selling products, they're selling a feeling, an experience, and a community. So, as a final thought, ask yourself this: how can your brand go beyond transactions and start building real relationships with your customers? I'm curious now, what's a brand that you're loyal to and why? Let us know in the comments, send us a DM. And if you found this episode helpful, please hit subscribe and follow for more marketing insights. Thanks for tuning into Club Conversations. Until next time, keep building, keep engaging, and keep creating brand advocates.